Hey guys, Engineer Wannabe here, and today we're going to be doing a review of the Seiko Presage SPB129. This is a limited edition of 1964 pieces, and there are two other color variants, an all black one, as well as a cream or off-white colored version, champagne, not really champagne, but an off-white cream color dial variant as well. We have here the teal dial or the green dial variant, and of course this was the one that really captivated me, as teal is a color I really enjoy. And once I saw it, after mulling it over for a little bit, I decided this would be a good watch to get a hold of, to experience, and it really did not disappoint. So let's go ahead and start with the dimensions here. We have a 41 millimeter diameter, and that is bezel to bezel. The bezel is actually a little proud of the case over here. So if you measure the case, it is 40 and a half. So it's a little smaller than the 41 millimeter diameter, very marginally. The thickness is 11.5 millimeters, and the lug to lug is 48 millimeters. The lug width here, of course, is 20 millimeters, which is a very nice size in terms of options for straps. So this does wear really well. It wears true to size, I'd say. Most other Seikos tend to wear smaller than the size would suggest, but this wears true to size. And I believe that is because of this angular case. It is an interesting case shape. To me, it's very reminiscent of the Zin 104. It's got that same profile, I think. The tops of the lugs are brushed, and it's a very aggressive brushing, as you can tell. It's not a smooth one, but I believe it is intentionally brushed aggressively. You have some polished bevels that get slightly more exaggerated toward the tip of the lug there. Very interesting little characteristic. And the sides are polished. So the star of the show, as usual, is the dial, and it is really quite beautiful. So we have a teal green dial. Pardon the fingerprints there. We've got a teal green dial, and we have polished indices. There is a brushing, a circular brushing around all the indices, which gives the dial even more character than it already does, and a very impressive sunburst. As you can tell, it's very dramatic. I want to talk a little bit about these indices. They are really well done, and in my unboxing I compared them to a Grand Seiko's indices, and the indices are faceted in a very similar way. Definitely not to the extent of a Grand Seiko, but they are very well polished here. And they play with the light really well, making it very visible in lower light conditions. So I'm very impressed with those indices. Very close to Grand Seiko levels of polishing. The hands are very nice sword or Dauphine hands. I do really enjoy them over the usual Presage hands that we do see. There is Lume. It's filled with Lume, and we've got Lume pips on the inner ring of those indices. Of course, you have that applied Seiko logo as well. The quality is absolutely outstanding. So let's talk about the Lume on this watch. The Lume is a bit underwhelming, actually. Now, I guess I've been spoiled by Seiko Lume, and I was expecting almost dive watch quality. at least on the hands, because there seems to be a lot of lume on the hands, but it really doesn't last very long. It is perfectly sufficient, and it is on par for a watch of this nature. I suppose a field watch or a sports watch of some sort, a dressier watch. But I was kind of expecting the hands to last through the night like a diver would, a Seiko diver with Lume Bright. But that said, it's not a knock against the watch. It's just my expectations were a little let down. These lume pips on the inside don't really last very long, but you really didn't expect it to. I would say they'd last to your eye for a couple hours. The hands will last maybe 5-6 hours till they're not usable. So in the end, very usable, very serviceable lume on this watch here. Now this does come in a bracelet, and the bracelet is actually very disappointing. It's shockingly different. Like, the brushing does not match the brushing on the tops of the lugs here, and there's a bit of a gap on either side, on both sides of the clasp. So it's a really strange bracelet. You can wear it on it if you prefer, and it's nice to always have the option, but I did take it off immediately, and it didn't bother me that much considering the price of this watch. It's actually quite a bit less than what I would have expected from a limited edition Presage model. The bracelet actually was really interesting. The bracelet, the way the bracelet was secured, the links are secured using split pins, and those split pins can be pushed out very easily, and that surprised me quite a bit. Seiko usually utilizes pin and collar mechanism to secure the pins, and I do, while a lot of people complain about it, I do like it. It's very secure. This is a little concerning, the way you're able to easily push out the pins without any force. You don't need a punch in a hammer, or a punch block in a hammer. You can just push it out, and that is a little strange. So I would suggest you take it off that bracelet. And there's a lot of watch in the watch head, and that bracelet does it no justice. Absolutely no justice. So I'm quite happy to have it off the bracelet. But again, if you do need it, it's there for you. Especially on a hot day, if you decide to wear this watch, you can. So it does pair well with quite a few straps. I think it looks best on a black strap, a black alligator or crocodile. It looks very good on that kind of strap. It looks okay on brown straps as well. This is by no means a formal watch, but it looks very good on brown, darker brown straps. So you have some options there. It's not as versatile as say the Korean dial variant or the black dial variant, but you can pull it off, especially on black and brown straps. Let's talk a bit about the bezel here. It's a friction bezel, and it's not very easy to move, but that's a good thing, I think, because it's not likely for you to knock it when you are timing something. If you use the bezel as a 0 to 60 minute timer, it's unlikely for you to knock it and mess up your timing. That said, if you do knock it just right, it can move on you. You'd have to hit the watch with some force though. So I think it's a good bezel. I'm not sure about its longevity, how long it'll last. I am, to be honest, a bit concerned about that. Over the years, considering this is such a specialty watch, and Seiko's somewhat poor track record of having spare parts, at least from what I've heard, I am a little concerned about how that bezel will be serviced in the future, as I'm sure there's some sort of rubber gasket that facilitates the manipulation of this bezel here, and if it were to perish, I'm not sure what kind of replacement we'd be able to get in the future. That said, it's an inexpensive watch. It's a special watch, but it is inexpensive, and I'm sure a watchmaker should be able to do something about it. Wearability. Let's go ahead and throw it on the wrist. I currently have it on a Seiko deployant with a Hirsch buffalo strap, one of my favorite straps. As you can tell, it's a little big for my wrist, but I do enjoy it, and I have a lot of fun with it, so it really doesn't matter to me. But very enjoyable watch to wear. That teal dial really pops out. It's really dramatic, and it's a very fun watch, and it's nice to have it on this deployant as well. It would pair well with a Milanese or a mesh strap as well, if you would like to wear it through the summer months. I know it's starting to get a bit warmer, so I'll probably take it off this leather strap. But I've had a really enjoyable time with this. I'm not sure. I, again, don't think this will be a keeper watch in my collection. It will move on at some point. But for now, it is a exceptionally fun watch to have. I didn't mention the movement that's in there. It's the 6R35. And it has a 70-hour power reserve, 21,600 beats per hour, as you can see, 6 ticks per second. Basically a variant of the 6R15 with a bit more power reserve. So guys, this has been a review of the SPB129J1. This is a very fun watch. The color of the dial and the drama that this dial has is a lot of fun. Those polished indices are very nice, very comparable to Grand Seiko as well, and it's a lot of watch for the money. The bracelet is a little disappointing, but that's all right, because you get so much watch for your money with this piece, and I am very happy with it. If I had paid a bit more and I got the poor bracelet, say $200-300 more, I would be very disappointed. But this watch is worth its money for sure. Well guys, hope you enjoyed it. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.